Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now.
And thanks for joining us for WNY News Now's post-election special. I'm Justin Gould. Chautauqua County will likely have a new district attorney as preliminary results indicate Republican Jason Schmidt has defeated incumbent Democrat DA Patrick Swanson. Speaking at an event in downtown Jamestown last night, Schmidt told the crowd he does not want to count out the 10,000 absentee ballots yet to be counted. However, his lead is big. Schmidt leads with nearly 30,000 votes, 63% over Swanson's 17,000 votes, 36%. He spoke with our Matt Hummel in an extended interview following last night's event.
With a presumptive district attorney-elect Jason Schmidt, just moments after a very interesting speech at something you could tell you had to be a little cautious with still a lot of votes out there with the absentees. So how are you feeling right now?
I mean, we're feeling very optimistic. I just want to point out that there are over 10,000 mail-in votes that are still out there. Those absentee votes matter. Every vote counts. I want to be respectful to the process, but obviously, this is amazing. It's an amazing turnout. I feel so honored and humbled by, the support that I received. It means the world to me.
Now, with the results that we do know so far, what does that tell you?
I think that, there were certainly very philosophical differences between myself and Mr. Swanson. I think that our respective campaigns illustrated that. We both had different beliefs. And I think that, the voters, listened and hopefully they made an informed decision. It was always important to me that people don't vote party line, that they educate themselves, and hopefully that's what this is reflective of. It also means that there's a lot of hard work ahead of us. If what we believe is the case that, I have won, there's certainly a lot of hard work ahead of us.
Right, and it's interesting that you point that out. Our Justin Gould did speak with District Attorney Swanson about 10 minutes or so ago. He was talking then and he was talking before through debates and other media interviews that there were a lot of challenges ahead with staffing. Now, I know you said in past debates that really staffing isn't an issue. From what you've seen since your debates and interviews, has anything changed?
No, I wasn't just saying that. I believe very strongly that district attorney's office performed very well, even when it was a part-time office under District Attorney David Foley, now County Court Judge Foley. I believe very strongly that we can make more efficient use of the existing staff. I think that we should not expect that there's going to be additional funding for additional attorneys. I'm not worried about that at this point. I think that we need to make proper use of the staff that we have, and there might be some changes that need to be made in order to be more in line with the type of office I'd like to see run that I think would better serve the community.
Now, when you to try not to go too much national, but when you're talking about a president being elected, they have a lot of goals that they want to achieve in their first 100 days. In your first 100 days of office, should everything be certified, are there any goals that you have for the district attorney's office?
I think I have to get a handle on, what resources are available to that office. The first thing I want to do is I want to sit down with the office itself, the support staff, the victims advocates, certainly the assistant district attorneys and the investigators, and speak with them on an individual basis. I also want to meet with the police, both the chiefs, the sheriff, and also the deputies and the various PBAs, because I think they have so much input and they're a wealth of knowledge, and I think that we have to work collectively as a law enforcement partnership in order to make sure that we put our best foot forward.
Now, one thing you did mention in, I believe it was a debate at the Reg Lene Center, and this is a good time, I think, to ask the follow-up. You mentioned the District Attorney Swanson a relationship of communicating with people in Albany, but he really wasn't focused locally. I know you stressed you want to focus locally, but do you still feel confident when you have to go to Albany that you can get some things done?
Well, sure. Honestly, my focus is here in Chautauqua County. Chautauqua County is really, look, that job is to take the most serious cases, those that have sufficient evidence, get them to trial, get convictions. And we have a very formidable public defender. I'm a fan of Ned Barone, and he's going to be a very, difficult adversary. But, that's the way the system works. We expect that there's strong defense attorneys, and we need a strong prosecutor on the other side. And that's how the system works. And I'm focused on working the system here in Chautauqua County. Does that mean that I won't take the state off, the District Attorneys Association, the resources that's available and utilize those? Sure. But my focus is here in the county.
And a final question for you, and I'm going to ask this in the future, but at least right now, you're going to be making a transition from defense attorney to back not only in the Chautauqua County District Attorney's Office, now you're likely the district attorney. What kind of transition is that going to be, and do you feel comfortable doing that?
I've thought about this quite a bit. There's certainly some conflict of interest or rules that apply. We're going to have to deal with that. But on the other side of it, I stopped taking on new matters quite a while ago. We recognized that if in the event that I won, that I needed to transition over to the prosecution side. I'll just remind the voters, the county, everybody, we had a very strong district attorney in Jim Subject, and he came from the defense side. And so it's doable. We've done it before. We can do it again. There's going to be, some mindfulness that has, we have to be careful in how we proceed, but that's okay. That's part of a transition process, and we're prepared for it.
DA Swanson says he was disappointed and wished Schmidt luck. He says it's unfortunate that national politics and people's drive on the party line is dictating politics locally. Chautauqua County Executive P.J. Wendel soundly defeated challenger Richard Morrisroe by more than 20,000 votes. The tally does not include absentee ballot votes. Wendel received more than 33,000 votes, while Morrisroe received more than 13,000. When he addressed the crowd after declaring victory, Wendel says that this year's election campaign was a unique journey because of COVID-19 and other challenges. Matt also caught up with the executive at the end of the night.
With County Executive P.J. Wendel, it looks like, barring anything unforeseen with the absentee ballots, you should be retaining your position. Now that you're not in front of the audience, what's your initial reaction?
I'm excited, but humbled, really, that 33,000 residents of Chautauqua County put me as their choice for county executive. So it's very humbled. I have my work cut out for me now. We have to move out of our COVID crisis. We need to get back on the track of economic growth and development. So I'm excited to get to work.
Now, what kind of goals do you have going forward? Because now you're going into what? It's another year? Okay, so you have another year. What kind of things are you looking to achieve as the county executive?
Well, we have a lot of job openings. We need to get those jobs filled. We need to get talent attraction here in the Chautauqua County. We need to get housing stock. We need to have some investment in our housing throughout. We're working on some initiatives with shared services throughout the county, code enforcement being one of them. But also we're looking at the growth of our industry, growth of tourism. A lot of opportunities. I've been traveling around with our wine industry, but also that we have a great craft beer opportunity here as well as our distillery. So how can we work with Lake County, Ohio, Erie County, Pennsylvania, Chautauqua County, and moving out to the Finger Lakes? So I think there's a lot of connections we can make as things have rolled out the last couple of weeks with Pennsylvania. I've created what we call the Border County Coalition from Rockland County all the way to Chautauqua County. We're working together to bring opportunities of tourism and travel throughout all of those counties that border Pennsylvania and really create that bond between New York and Pennsylvania to create job opportunity and economic growth.
Now, we have heard some concern from those who supported Mr. Morrisroe. We've heard concerns about how the county has handled the COVID crisis. How do you address those concerns moving forward?
Well, I think if you look at, the questions they have really were, at one point, a lot of questions with the Fieldbrook Foods, and we put those concerns to bed, at the way we handled not only Fieldbrook Foods. We had an uptick in SUNY Fredonia. We worked with them, and now we're still dealing with a small uptick or a big uptick at Tango and Manners. So if you look at how we aggressively pursue our contact tracing, how we get the information out, as you said, we're tracing a private event that took place in North County. We have an uptick in members of the Jamestown Fire Department. So we're looking at those things, and we get that information out to residents. There's concerns, but I can have my residents rest assured that we are doing everything we can. But controlling this is up to the residents. It's up to all of us to wear our masks, to socially distance, to avoid those large gatherings, especially now with the holidays coming. It's a trying time, but we need to continue the hard work.
Now, transitioning from COVID, because as we know, the world keeps spinning. What kind of goals do you have for Chautauqua County?
Well, obviously increasing our economy here in the county, bringing new industry here, keeping the businesses we have. As you know, we have $10.5 million available for businesses that are struggling. We know that's going to be a problem here as we emerge from COVID. How many businesses have not opened yet in Chautauqua County? Getting them back on their feet again is important, but also filling those jobs we talked about, several jobs. If you look now, even with COVID, we're seeing advertisements for opportunities here in Chautauqua County. Bush Industries is hiring. Blue Bunny in the North County is hiring. So we need to get those opportunities out there. We need to get people in those positions. We need to get good industry back here and retain the jobs we have and create that economy that we know we have here in Chautauqua County.
Now, I don't want to put you on the spot because I know this is still election night. There's plenty of things that could happen behind the scenes. But with Mr. Morrisroe, could you see him possibly taking some sort of position, whether it's a full-time thing or on a committee? We've seen in the past George Borrello had Mike Ferguson help him out with some projects. Could we see that here?
We could. I just need to look at where we're going to go and what my initiatives are and where we can find. And Rich does have some unique talents and some skill set that could lend to our county moving forward. So just time will have to tell. We'll just wait and see where we are. We have our Partnership for Economic Growth. It started, that's just kicking off and moving well. There's some opportunities. So yeah, I won't rule anything out, but we'll have to wait and see how things go.
And final question for you. What is the biggest message that you have for the 130,000 plus residents here in Chautauqua County?
Well, thank you. Really, thank you for your support. Thank you for putting your trust in me as your county executive. And as I said before, the comeback will be greater than our setback. And I hope to take Chautauqua County to new heights. And this is the beginning. So we'll keep going from here.
The Republican will face another election next year as he seeks a full 4-year term. Assemblyman Andy Goodell is projected to have won re-election for the state's 150th Assembly seat. Goodell received 34,000 votes, 73% of those cast, over Democratic challenger Christina Cardinelli, who received 12,000, 26%. Goodell told WNY News Now's Matt Hummel that he anticipated this race to be complex in many ways because of the many ways voters can cast their ballots. However, the third phase, Goodell calls, in voting this year was Election Day, which likely pushed him over his challenger. We caught up with him at the end of the night.
With State Assemblyman Andy Goodell, according to these results, it looks like you're going to be in for another term. Assuming everything sticks, what's your initial reaction to that?
I'm very thankful to be able to represent the residents of Chautauqua County and Albany on the floor of the State Assembly. I love this county. We've got great people, and I saw that throughout the whole campaign. I was so appreciative of all the people calling up for lawn signs or sending us money to help with the campaign, and words of encouragement throughout the whole process. And so I'm very thankful for all that support, and I'm very thankful to be part of a great team with Senator Borrello and County Executive P.J. Wendel. All of us work very closely together, including our Congressman Tom Reed, and that teamwork really pays big dividends to the residents of Chautauqua County. So we have some really tough issues facing us, for sure. The budget issues in the state, the economy, getting people back to work, hopefully working our way through this COVID. Those are huge issues, but I look forward to doing my very best for the residents of Chautauqua County, and I appreciate the opportunity to represent them.
Now, what is the biggest issue that you're going to be fighting for in the next couple months?
The biggest issue is how can we restart the New York State economy safely? And how do we reopen our schools safely? How do we return to normalcy post-COVID? And it's extraordinarily important that we do that as quickly and as effectively as possible. At the same time, recognizing we have budget deficits, it's a real challenge to cut spending, but I'm going to be focusing my efforts on identifying lower priority items that I think we should cut rather than raise taxes. And there are some people who just say, tax the rich or raise taxes on everybody, and that's so counterproductive because we've seen a mass exodus of high-wage earners from New York State. We've led the nation in the loss of high-wage earners. So we need a different approach, which is to have the high-wage earners stay in New York, to keep our taxes under control, cut unnecessary spending, and focus on rebuilding the economy.
Now, we've noticed a lot of times in these local elections that the winners often tend to learn some things from their opponents. What was the biggest thing that you learned from Ms. Cardinale?
And you're absolutely right. In fact, tonight, Ms. Cardinale called me, very gracious, wished me the best, and I made it clear to her that my door is open. And often what we find is that we agree on what the issues are, and sometimes we may have disagreements on how to implement it. So working as part of a team, including people who are not necessarily Republican, but have a different perspective, helps you build that framework. Every year, I help redraft or change or amend 2 or 3 Democrat bills where I certainly agree with what they're trying to accomplish, but we want to tweak the language to avoid unanticipated consequences. And the same is true here. Ms. Cardinale in particular focused on child care, very important issue. Talked about reducing taxes, utility taxes, taxes on small business. Those are all great ideas, and I intend to do my best to implement those as well.
And final question for you, because it's been a long night. What is the biggest message that you have for the citizens of Chautauqua County?
Well, we've got some challenges ahead of us, but we have a phenomenal county with a lot of great people. And one of the things you realize when you run a campaign like this is how many good, honest, thoughtful, hardworking people we have in Chautauqua County. And that is really the strength of our county. And so it is a real pleasure to meet those kind of people, and we've got a lot here. And that's really the future for our county.
Aside from 10,000 absentee votes yet to be counted, Goodell leads Cardinale by more than 22,000 ballots. While New York State Senator George Borrello has won his re-election bid, Borrello is projected to win by over 53,000 votes. Speaking with our crew, Borrello says he is honored and grateful for the residents of the region to trust him for the job.
All right, with State Senator George Borrello, obviously there's still some absentee ballots to come in, but if the numbers stay, you're going to be the state senator once again. So now that you're not in front of the audience, what is your initial reaction to that?
Well, you know what? I'm humbled that once again the people of the 57th Senate District have chosen me to serve them in Albany, and it is truly an honor. I am looking forward to going back to work, although we've been working the whole time, going back to Albany and being that strong voice for the people of this district, for our first responders, our small business owners, our farmers, for the people that work hard every day to raise their family, pay their taxes, and do the best they can to be good citizens. Those are the people that make up so much of this district, and I'm so proud to represent.
Now, I'm going to create a new term here. So if there's one out there, I hope I don't get sued. But we've seen a lot of local people, such as you and County Executive Wendel, and just to name a few, talk about the R PAC, the Republican PAC, where the local officials who, may be in the same party, but they're working together. How important is that, especially during these tough times?
You know, ever since I was a county legislator, we've all worked well together. It's always been that team mentality. It doesn't matter what level of government you're in or what party you're in. We have a great spirit of cooperation in getting things done here in Chautauqua County, and that'll continue. And I'm proud to be a part of that team.
Now, what things are on your radar, especially now that you're more than likely going to be back in Albany?
You know, I think we have to address this pandemic and the impact it's had from a public health standpoint, but also from an economic standpoint. You know, it's easy to lock down our economy, but to truly come out of this, we're going to have to strike a balance. And right now, our governor has been very one-sided on this. It's all shut down all the time, and we need to return some common sense to this. At the same time, we have to look at the things that have happened, even pre-COVID, the huge budget deficit that we had, the spiraling out of control of the lawlessness across our state, thanks to the bail reform laws. All these things that we need to address in order for New York State to return to what it once was, which is a great place to live, work, and raise a family, a great place to be a small business owner and a farmer. And those things have gone by the wayside in favor of these radical New York City-based special interests. And we need to return New York to its former glory, quite honestly.
Now, final question for you, State Senator Borrello. You have some sort of message, knowing you. What's the biggest message that you have for your constituents, which spans, 3.5 counties?
That I am very proud of what they do every day. I'm very proud to represent them, and that I'm looking forward to ensuring that their voice is heard loud and clear in Albany.
He was running against Democratic challenger Frank Puglisi, who received nearly 25,000 votes. That's 23% under Borrello's 78,000 votes, 72%. Well, Congressman Tom Reed has declared victory in the race for New York's 23rd Congressional District. Reed leads with more than 160 votes, 61% of ballots cast, over Democratic challenger Tracy Matrano, who has nearly 91,000 votes, 34%. Reed says winning another 2-year term is humbling, but reminds him that he needs to wake up today and get back to work. He says his top priority is helping the district recover from COVID.
The main focus: get COVID-19, get the vaccine delivered, get the vaccine approved, and get us out of COVID-19. And then unleash this economy, bring prosperity back to people, because that is when people do the best. We talked about it on the campaign. It's about people and empowering them to have opportunity. It's not about big government. I believe in people, and when they are given a chance to control their own destiny, that is when they aspire and deliver so much, not only to themselves, but to the region and to the area.
Meanwhile, Matrano says out of respect for every voter and every vote, she will refrain from commenting on the race until all absentee ballots are opened on November 10th. Reed previously defeated Matrano in the 2018 general election. Well, Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden is voicing optimism as the nation awaits some key swing state totals still. Biden, according to the Associated Press election tally, leads Trump by 238 electoral college points over Trump's 213. Nadia Romero has more on where the presidential election stands.
The 2020 electoral map is slowly coming into focus. President Donald Trump and his challenger Joe Biden are watching the results closely with one crucial number in mind: 270. That's how many electoral votes are needed to win the presidency. Biden speaking to supporters from Wilmington, Delaware early Wednesday morning as votes are still being counted in several key battleground states.
I'm here to tell you tonight, we believe we're on track to win this election. We knew because of the unprecedented early vote and the mail-in vote that it was going to take a while. We're going to have to be patient until the hard work of tallying the votes is finished. And it ain't over till every vote is counted, every ballot is counted.
The president at the White House touting wins in several states, even though vote counting has not yet been completed in every state in the country, and falsely claiming he won the election.
The results tonight have been phenomenal. And we are getting ready. I mean, literally, we were just all set to get outside and just celebrate something. This is a fraud on the American public. This is an embarrassment to our country. We were getting ready to win this election. Frankly, we did win this election.
Despite bracing for potential problems at polling sites, officials across the country have not reported any major voting issues. The governor of battleground Pennsylvania urging patience as the vote counting begins.
Counting that tremendous number of ballots will take more time than we're used to. We may not know the results today, but I encourage all of us to take a deep breath and be patient.
In Washington, I'm Nadia Romero.
Nadia, thank you. Last night, the president tweeted, "We are up big, but they're trying to steal the election. We will never let them do it. Votes cannot be cast after the polls close." Well, straight ahead, our first defense weather forecast after this.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer, plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
I'm a survivor.
I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor. Testicular cancer is the leading form of cancer in men aged 15 to 35.
1 in 250 men will be diagnosed with testicular cancer.
But 98% will survive if detected early.
As a survivor, I believe early detection is the key. Learn how to do a testicular self-exam and other important facts about testicular cancer at oneball4tc.com.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
First Defense Weather, the Southern Tier's only live and local weather source. Now, here's Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter.
All right, let's talk about the top 5 snowiest Novembers in Jamestown history, dating all the way back to 1895. That is when the weather records started being kept here. And this is something we talked about yesterday, but it's worth mentioning here. The snowiest November ever was back in 1933, where we had 54 inches of snow. Now, back in 2018, we had 32.6 inches of snow. That ranks as the 5th snowiest November on record, and all of that was mainly lake effect. And last year, we had 7.9 inches of snow throughout the month of November. Now, we already gauged our first inch so far this year, so we'll see how much more snow we pick up. And is there any more snow in the forecast? Well, not in the short term. Look at this big warm up across much of the East Coast here. This is warmer than average temperatures as that warm air surges in from the south. That's really going to spike temperatures, and you're going to see here how warm we're going here. We project warm air winds. Everybody's going to get warm air. We're going to be in the lower 60s both today, tomorrow, and Friday. But look at Saturday and Sunday. We spiked these temperatures up upper 60s on Saturday, and we're making a run at 70 come Sunday. And we could be close to breaking records both Sunday and Monday of next week. This is something we're going to continue to fine tune, but it's definitely going to get much warmer around here. But the warm air means no precipitation. This is the 5-day precip outlook from NOAA, and it's basically showing you a goose egg across much of the Great Lakes region, including western New York. There is no rain forecast over the next 5 days, and really over the next 7, we only have 1 day of rain forecast, and it's only a small chance. So get out and enjoy this wonderful weather this week. Everybody gets sun today. It's going to be milder than it was yesterday. A great day to enjoy the outdoors, but it still remains breezy. 57 on the highest hills. 64 at the Lake Erie shoreline with a south wind, 10 to 20 miles per hour, some wind gusts near 30 miles per hour at times through the afternoon. Tonight, mainly clear and starlit, not as chilly as it was last night, but the winds still remain an issue throughout the overnight. 43 in the valleys, 52 at the Lake Erie shoreline with that south wind, 10 to 20 miles per hour continuing. Now, the next 7 days of your life, brought to you by 42 degrees and sunny, 61 tomorrow, and we've got another 61-degree day coming up on Friday, and the sunshine will continue both of those days. Saturday, 67, lots of sun. On Sunday, the record high is 73. We're going 70. On Monday, the record high is 71, and if we hit our forecast high of 73, that'll break that record. And only on Tuesday do we bring in a small chance for at least a scattered or isolated shower with temperatures in the mid-60s. We'll take a break. Be right back.
Dakota, thank you. That's it for our post-election special. We're back tomorrow live at noon right here on WNY News Now. Hope to see you then.